Hi, welcome to my plasma system here. What we're gonna do in this video is install DWM the ArcoLinux way, but it's gonna be based on ArcoLinux. So we have already played around with some ArcoLinux versions. This one is the one from ArcoLinux 2020 11.01, right? So the very last ISO for me at this point in time, of course. So you start off with an ArcoLinux installation. You go and have a look and say, okay, ArcoLinux has a phases, learning phases, but in phase 5 you go and decide if you want to go for phase 1, the BIOS, the older computer, and the newer computers, UEFI. We went to 2, we went to 3, and at some point in time they say, okay, after all of that we choose a desktop, so we choose DWM. So the article has been written, has been created here, and we've done it with the ArcoLinux ISO of 11/2020. Now there is also something else you can do, and that's get spices in, and there are articles about it. Spice up Arch, what does that mean? It means that you use as basis, as foundation, you use the ArcoLinux ISO, and later on decides, oh, I'm missing this, I'm missing that from ArcoLinux. So you're getting in, for example, the bash RC. All our aliases are not available on ArcoLinux, right? So software you like, Reflector and so on. So this particular little application, the image you see here, this thing can be downloaded, can be installed, and all you need to do is follow a few videos or something like that, and then you know what's going on, what these buttons all mean, and then you have basically the access to all the packages that we have on ArcoLinux, right? So this is only, well, you don't need to know anything about this if you're on ArcoLinux, right? It's only for people on ArcoLinux users, ArcoLinux Spices applications. We've called it like that. It's also on YouTube like that. So YouTube, ArcoLinux Spices, let's see if we can get something. And installing and using ArcoLinux Spices, how to get the ArcoLinux Spices, how to add ArcoLinux Spices. I mean, there are so many videos about it, in the playlist, of course. If you find a playlist, go ahead and click on the playlist. It's all about this particular tool. But what we've never shown before, I think, that's the fact that what if we have an ArcoLinux, okay, and we don't have anything graphical yet. So DWM, but there is no graphical, so no G or whatever, nothing graphical. That means there is no XFCE, there is no Mate, there is no Cinnamon, there's nothing there. We are in a TTY. How do you get it if you're working on a TTY? Okay, every application, right, we share our code online. ArcoLinux Spices. Let's see. Okay, no. Let's see if I can find the link. If Google finds the link, might be this one, I think. ArcoLinux Spices. So basically, it's in here. Local bin ArcoLinux Spices. We have this. Oh, we have the share. In here, those are the scripts. There is a graphical user interface, right? Remember, graphical user interface. But when you press a button, you launch something. It just says, okay, go get that, go do this, and do that, right? It's the only thing it does. So I thought, let's make a video. What did we do? I just went through the motions here. The VirtualBox that we have. We went to Archway. We made phase 1 UEFI. The one I've made there is with a small UEFI. Then a swap, I think around 8 GB. We'll see it shortly. And then the rest is root. We went to phase 2. We went to phase 3, which means We have Xorg, we have LightDM, but there's nothing behind it. So now for me, I can just say sudo pacman minus s cinnamon, or xfc4 and xfc4 goodies, or deeping and deeping extra, and so on. I can keep on making all these installations. Now, maybe you say, Eric knows this by heart. There's no reason to know this by heart. Download documents, cheat sheet ArcoLinux, download it 10,000 times, right? Download a file, it's a PDF. And there it says, if you want to have awesome, install awesome and vicious BSP WM, get this one, and cinnamon, for example, deeping extra, right? XFCE is on the second page. XFC4, XFC4 goodies, and for Mate, it's Mate extra. So it's just some knowledge, and the knowledge is where it's supposed to be. Arch Wiki, I want to install cinnamon, please. Thank you very much. And Arch Wiki tells you, okay, what you need to do, and you have to make a little bit of translation there. Cinnamon can be installed with the package cinnamon. Basically, this means sudo pacman minus s cinnamon. Right? This is English, but then you go and translate it to what you need to type, sudo pacman minus s cinnamon, and so on. All right, a long story short, so we have a DWM, let's boot it up. Well, we don't have a DWM not yet, right? We have grub, we have LightDM, it's gonna be there, it's cool, but LightDM will show up like this. This means there is nothing in user share X sessions. Go and have a look what's in there. It's a desktop file and DWM is not there. Nothing is there really, so nothing shows, right? So that's a hint. You forgot something. We forgot to install something. So I want to have this tweak tool. All right. Control F. Let me do Control F here. So not full screen anymore. I want to have this, right? So I need to type a git clone this particular bit. All the rest is unimportant. So I can click here, right? This bit is what I need. I'm gonna move this guy to my second screen. No, that's not my second screen. Let me move it again. Where are you, my friend? I have 6 screens open, 6 workspaces, and he is hiding here. Okay, gotcha. So back to my screen. So I need to go into the TTY. Control F. Let's go back for full screen. And then going inside TTY in VirtualBox. Otherwise it's Control F3, F4, F2, Control Alt, right? But now it's right Control F3 in VirtualBox. So I'm going in as a user. And at this point in time, you can decide to install XFC, right? XFC4, goodies, Mate, extra, deeping, the thing we just talked about. I do not think Git is already installed, so let's see. All right, I was right. Git is installed now. Maybe we can do an update, but an update is a command, an alias we use on ArcoLinux. Basically, it's back to ArcoLinux, right? And you need to come know again, hey, what was the command again to update my ArcoLinux system? Let's me install NeoFetch as well, so you know what we're talking about, right? It's not ArcoLinux. We are on ArcoLinux, that particular kernel, and so on and so on. All right, so I need to git clone https://github.com. Why do you want to do that again? Because we want to have the ArcoLinux spices in. We want to have the ArcoLinux packages in. And we've been calling it like that all the time. And in here, in between, I need another ArcoLinux, like so. And then you get this particular thing. So what you see here, all the data you have here is now on your computer system. Okay. ls. Indeed, I have a folder. I go inside ls. I see here all kinds of things, but what I need is in user ls. And then we have local and share, and we can have a look here again. So okay, when I go in user, I see local and local bin. This is a thing to launch our application, right? So we're not needing that. Share applications, can have a look here as well. So you see it's a desktop file, so that's not needed either. That's something to have in the menu. It's going to be in here in the menu because of the desktop file is there. Share ArcoLinux Spices, and here we see the scripts. So okay, we know now how to navigate. cd share ls. We see ArcoLinux Spices, cd ArcoLinux Spices ls. We see the scripts, and we see all the scripts, right? Now, there are no numbers, they're just, let's have a look here. So, add and trust ArcoLinux key. What script would be doing that? Probably number 2, add key service for key importing, right? Add and trust ArcoLinux keys. All the rest is that and that. I have to read it myself as well. And then the trust the key. Might be trust key as well. Yeah. So number 1 is gonna be trustkey.sh. You can have a look because hey, memory, right? Now trust the key. And it says here, those are the keys for all the people we have, right? All the core members can make packages, and those are all the keys. Control X. Then you run it, right? Instead of reading it, you say, okay, let's run this thing. Now, can we run this thing? Is it done? Pacman key needs to be run as root. Okay, got it. And then we see all these errors. Now, this may not occur on your system. Cool, saved, right? But in Belgium, with the internet service providers we have, right, I need to do something. Add key service for key importing. So basically, that's number 2. Fix key server connection for step 1. So I tried this, didn't work. Gonna add something to my system for key servers, and I just helped somebody on Discord just having the same issue. So add key servers for key importing, and those are the lines, but let's check anyway because hey, we are educational, right? So pacman.d gnu.pg gpg.conf. Did something change there? Yes, we have 3 lines extra telling him, look, go and have a look at that particular server with that port 80.443.11371 and all the differences here in the front, right? So yes, it's saved, and cool, Control X, right? ls. So now the system knows, so we basically pushed on button 2 here, right? Which launches the script. Where is it now? This one. Okay. So now I can try it again. Add key servers for key importing. So did we actually open? I think we did open it, but let's have a look again. So this is what we've done. No, we did not open it. So this is the extra lines, right? Extra key servers. ls. What we did show you was a trust key. So we're gonna try again with that one. Pacman needs to be run as root. Still, a sudo is required. And now things happen. Whoa, where does all this, right? So now I can communicate from this computer to key servers around the world. You saw the 3 lines there, and it's all coming in. It takes its time, so wait for it, right? Wait for it. Just takes the time it needs, it requires. But basically, in the end, voila. At the end, I want to see 3 hashtags. I want to see ArcoLinux key trusted and 4 hashtags at the end. For me, that's the message, everything is fine. So the hashtag thing is, for me, it's finished. All right, what can we do next? If this is done, well, this did not work. First the fix, back to here. Then we can add the ArcoLinux repo. So now the system knows who's Eric. He knows it. Oh, sorry. Back to this. Sudo pacman key, and then list me the keys, right? And you'll see here, Marco is there, Eric Dubois is there more or less in the middle, John Blevins is there, Stephen Younger is there, Brad is there, Raniel is there. I mean, these are our keys. We are in there. Pacman knows us. Our keys will be accepted by Pacman. That's the deal. So the third thing is to tell Pacman, hey, you've got more stuff to download from the ArcoLinux repos, right? So probably gonna be number 1 there, right? Add ArcoLinux repo to pacman.conf. All right, show me what's now inside etc pacman.conf before we do anything, right? Before we do anything, this is just hashtagged out. Multilib is not present, multilib testing is not present, community and community testing is not present, extra and core. So basically, if you update your system, you say sudo pacman -syu, it's gonna look at core, it's gonna look at extra, it's gonna look at community. That's it. Proof, core, extra, community. That's it. What I'm now gonna do is add stuff to pacman.conf. I'm wondering if I need to be sudo, so I'm gonna try it out. So I know it again. And there we go. We did not need to be sudo. And immediately the script says, okay, here, here's a new database. Here all the databases are downloaded, right? If I do a sudo pacman -syu again, then you see we have core, extra, community, ArcoLinux repo third party, ArcoLinux repo extra large. So we've changed this. These lines are extra, which means now it becomes interesting. Our ArcoLinux system can get stuff from ArcoLinux. The keys are in, the repos are in, the databases are in, and there is so much to be installed from our third-party things. I can just type sudo pacman -spotify. I can just install Dropbox, InSync, you name it, all that's on the ArcoLinux repo that's pre-built for you guys can be again installed this way. So easy. Now, I don't have anything yet as desktop, right? We have, this tutorial is for DWM, but can be any other tiling window manager where you don't end up into something graphical. All the others, Mate, XFCE, Plasma, Cinnamon, they end up in a graphical environment and you don't need to do all this. But it's an interesting exercise, education-wise as well, that a graphical user interface, so this nice little thing, is just launching scripts, right? Go and look at the scripts. That's what we're doing. We're checking next thing. So 4, get the latest ArcoLinux bash RC and replace current one. Yep, we have something called more or less the same, right? You see there in the middle, get the latest ArcoLinux bash RC. All right, so basically it's going to get it from a certain GitHub, you see it, raw GitHub, user content, ArcoLinux root, etc. bash RC latest, and it's gonna save it in the bash RC home Eric, more to the bottom there. Is that true? We are now here, right? Home Eric, ArcoLinux, Spices, user, share, ArcoLinux. I rather don't want to switch folders, so what I'm gonna do is Control F3 or Control F4, that's better. I'm gonna take another TTY and I'm gonna show you here what happened. So this pops up. That's strange. Why does this pop up? Why? Because nano bash RC. Oh my god, right? It's all there. This is our bash RC. You can do upalls and updates and anything that's in there. Or provided, of course, you have the software installed, like Mirror, right? Mirror, you can run it, but let's say, hey, it's cool you want to run Mirror, but there is no application. This is ArcoLinux, this is not ArcoLinux, so you need to think again. Okay, I need to have Reflector, otherwise the Mirror thing won't work. Right? A Mirror will work again. That's a little bit of Sherlock Holmes thing that you have to do. But we've done it a little bit for you. Add software used in bash RC. So basically, button 5 is gonna install Reflector for you, and then you can use the alias. Now, let me go back to Control F3, so the other TTY. I'm still here, right, in the spices, what we downloaded. So that's done. Add software used in bash RC, number 5, what would that be? Oh, second column, last line. Oh, dot install software ArcoLinux uses in bash RC. So Reflector. So a lot of things get installed in here. It's too quick to actually read, but Yabin, for example, is installed, which we like to do, of course, because if you do upall, right, then we have a it's not found again. I wonder if we overwritten our yeah, I know why. Exit, right? Exit. And then, of course, there you go. Bash RC is now applied. I could have done source bash RC, but log out, log in, hey, it's much faster. So upall is gonna work. Why? Because Yabin is installed. Okay, cool. Now I did lose my present working directory, right? So I need to go back in ArcoLinux Spices, ls, back in user, and ls again in the share, and ls, and in the ArcoLinux Spices, and inside scripts, ls. So here we were. So I've done number 5 as well. Add software used in bash RC, improve make package.conf. We've added that because ArcoLinux by default is not going to use all the cores. And you have one core, that's cool, right? Dual core, quad core. But if you have 16 cores and they're not used, it's actually right. It's just not done. What do we have? We have a change make package.conf. And we do this, change make package.conf. Basically, it's gonna change your etc make package.conf, and script sees in the VirtualBox I have 4 cores, and that's correct. I have 8 cores in total. 4 is given to the VirtualBox and 4 is for my system, right? So he found not 1 core. If I would build packages, then it will use 1 core, but now with this little script it's going to use 4 cores, going to be much faster, finished. And then last but not least, sometimes we needed a poll kit to actually work, to give this pop-up and say, hey, are you root? Give your password. That's what the poll kit is all about. And you can install that as well. It all depends what phase you are and what desktop you are. Maybe it's already installed, right? But this is very bare. What we've done is an ArcoLinux bare installation. And now we're finally going to install DWM, the ArcoLinux DWM. The other video, there's already a video about how to install DWM from AUR actually on ArcoLinux. So not the ArcoLinux DWM. So this one is going to be the video about, hey, let's go get ArcoLinux DWM because we like the configuration, or we want to work with this as basis and then go change it later on, etc, etc. So we've installed ArcoLinux DWM. We go and have a look. User, share, accessions, And indeed, we have a DWM desktop. So when we log out, when we reboot, let's reboot later on, and then you'll see that LightDM at the top right has DWM, and we can boot in, or we can log in to the system. Now I'm gonna type also a skel, so that the content of this particular package is also inside my home directory, where I can edit it and change it and build it again, because DWM is not a standard tiling window manager per se. It's actually an application that you build, install and try out. So skel, and then sudo reboot. He recognizes now our own aliases from ArcoLinux, right? Otherwise you have to type sudo reboot. Gonna work as well. Let's have a look. At the top we have DWM. So LightDM is gonna look in user share accessions. Didn't find anything in the beginning of the video. Finds something now. If you type sudo pacman -s xfc4, it will add xfc4 to the list, but only if you install it, right? Logging in, and this is our DWM, right? We have, of course, a finished product in the sense that we have wallpapers and we have more products, but basically this is how it's done. Go to the spices. In this case we did not do it graphically, right? We went inside folders, run scripts, and anything can be done, and it can be installed, but Ctrl-Alt-T in our case is not launching ST. So in the other video it was Alt-Shift-Enter, and Alt-Shift-Enter is the keyboard shortcut that DWM has to launch ST. But Termite is our thing, right? Termite is the tool we're having. So I can't really launch anything here. Why? Because I did not install Termite. So that's the Sherlock Holmes part, which is actually, well, fun, I think. Can be fun to figure out, hey, what's going on? Why don't I have anything? Because Termite is not present, Tuner is not present. Let's install these two guys. All right, and go back to Control F7. There we are. And now we need to log out. ArcoLinux logout is not there. So it will be always, well, fun to figure out what do I need more, right? ArcoLinux, there's lots of ArcoLinux stuff. That's all you have. This is anything you see you like, you can get it. For instance, the wallpapers can be there. The wallpaper, Git, everything, not everything, but most of the things end with Git. So the ArcoLinux logout, I can't log out of my system. We have themes as well, why not, right? ArcoLinux logout themes. And because of the fact that everything is correct, the keys are there, the pacman.conf is there, boom, you've got everything installed. And let's do a sudo reboot. It doesn't know it anymore, is it? Let's nano bash rc. Anything happened there? Yep, we're back to the ArcoLinux stuff. So what we do is we're gonna overwrite it now for certain. ArcoLinux root. And in the root is the bash rc, our bash rc, skel. Skel is not recognized, no problem. You will be recognized once we reboot, sudo reboot. And it keeps on figuring out, okay, what's happening, what's in there, what can we get from ArcoLinux. But it's a fun thing, right? It's a fun job. The wallpapers are there. Ctrl-T is not working, so the what could it be? You have to think about it. What can it be? Tuner is there, so that's cool. Open terminal. Let's see if Termite was installed. Might. Alright, so Termite is there. So I have to figure out why the Ctrl-Alt-T is not working. But basically the Super Shift Enter worked, the Ctrl-Alt Enter, so this Termite thing, neo fetch, Bash RC is again also lost. So the skel thing isn't working, right? Which means the easiest way, I'm thinking about the easiest way to do this is actually copy paste, right? Copy paste. Well, first I need to be assertive. I can keep on having fun with, like Sherlock Holmes, right? Figuring out what needs to be done and all that, but let me do just this one. etc skel, and what do we have here? A bash RC, of course, right? But we need to have, oh, that's not gonna be the correct one. Let's have a look. Come on, Sherlock. So bash RC, yep, cool. This is ours, no problem. So that's okay. That's the one I want. I'm gonna copy paste you to me. And what is me? This is you, a tilde, right? And then it's gonna be in here. It's gonna be in the home directory. I can nano bash RC. That's our long bash RC, and I can load it up immediately now. Or you log out, log in, and then everything will work again. Let's do an upall again. And I want to skel, right? Skel. Nah. Now it's done. Skel has been created. Control H. We have a few skels here. So this is the result of a skel. It's kind of backup thing. So you need to read the alias skel, and then you see, first off, it's gonna make a backup. It's gonna make a backup of this thing, because this contains, I'm just thinking about percentages, 95% of all your system. It's gonna be in your .config. So we have backups. And later on, you know the drill, right mouse click. If you have the proper settings, right? This is the ArcoLinux XFCE setting, which we don't like, we don't love. So I'm gonna get ArcoLinux XFCE setting in. And this contains the custom actions we have. What we tend to do on ArcoLinux is compare, right mouse click, melt. And the application melt needs to be there, of course, otherwise you can't compare. So sudo pacman, and it's a long road, but it's a learning road, and that's just the most interesting part, right? Start from scratch on ArcoLinux and figure out, hey, how can I get to the ArcoLinux look? And what pieces of the puzzle, and you have all the pieces, right? Sudo pacman -s ArcoLinux. All the pieces are here. 135 pieces. Now you have to check out which ones do I want, right? Which ones do I need? All right, I'm out. I could keep on working on this thing. Would be fun, but we need icons and all that. And even another application, we have SL status, I think it's called, ArcoLinux, scroll, SL status, is it somewhere here? Or another name? Let me go over 135. Here it is, DWM SL status, right? And if you're wondering what the Nemesis thing is here, that's where we experiment with new settings. So DWM Git is what you get standard, and the Nemesis is beta, let's say. It's a testing environment, an experimentation. And we try out new stuff, new patches, and when they're good, they go inside this the standard stable DWM. All right, I'm out. This is a completely different way of showing things. It's all possible. It's Linux. It's free. You do whatever you want. It's great. All right, enjoy.